All right, this next gentleman coming to the stage. He's actually the first person to ever headline a show out at the Bookworm, or comedy show, I should say. And since he's been tearing it up all over the place. He's been a regular out at Riddles. He's also been at numerous other clubs. Please welcome to the stage, Salty Peters!
Guys, keep it going for your host, Marcos. Putting the show together tonight. Doing good. Yeah, I was the first headliner for the show. Trying to find somewhere to put my drink. And then 2 years later, I come back and I'm featuring, so my career's on fire. I headlined 2 years ago to like 60 people. 2 years later, there's like 3 people here, 2 kids. I don't know what I can say in front of them. I'm heading in the wrong direction, guys. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on here. Like, this looks like the capes from the Gay Justice League. And the tie-dyes, apparently Hanukkah is still happening here or something. Like, or Christmas. Like, I love it. It's weird. It gives a character. Let's talk about this right off the bat. I know I don't look it, but I am Mexican-American. I say that so you feel comfortable with the racial shit that I'm about to say. And guys, it's Rockford at like 8:30 at night. All your Mexicans are still at work, so you guys are good. Like, my cousin is still cleaning tables over in an Olive Garden somewhere right now. We're fine. We're fine. But it throws people off ever since I was a kid, because I know I don't look it. Like, in the 3rd grade, I told my teacher that I was Mexican, and she looks at me and she's like, if it makes you feel any better, I couldn't even tell. Like, that was a compliment. I couldn't tell is not a compliment. That's something you say if you get caught with a transvestite prostitute, okay? That's Eddie Murphy's defense. My mom came here from Mexico, so immigration's a big deal to me, but what I don't like is the extremism that surrounds the issue. Because it never fails. You turn on the news and they find this redneck from Arkansas that's like, oh, the Mexicans are going to ruin everything. They're going to ruin the country. It's like, what is there left to ruin? We're not the ones that made Honey Boo Boo famous. Sarah Palin decided to talk about this too. She actually said these words. She said, the governor of Arizona has the cojones to defend the border that President Obama does not. Like, why is Sarah Palin talking? Like, what would she ever do to stop Mexicans from getting into the country? She couldn't stop Levi from getting into Bristol. That's all about knowing your ethnic history, guys. You gotta know your ethnic history. Because, like, when the recession was at its absolute worst, my wife and I were unemployed, and we're pinching pennies trying to keep our house, and it's stressful, right? And I tell this to my friend, and, like, he's like, all of a sudden, like, he's like, I'm gonna take you to the bar, drinks are on me, I know it's stressful. I'm like, best friend ever, right? Get to the bar, I'm telling him my money problems. All of a sudden, my friend turns into, like, this foreclosure expert, which would have been fine if he wasn't Native American. Like, he's not the best authority to tell me how to keep my land. That's like getting safe sex advice from Magic Johnson. Is that one? He was cheating on his wife when he got AIDS, okay? It's not like he was giving a blood transfusion to orphans and did the Lord's work and got AIDS on accident. Moral of the story, cheat on your wife, get AIDS. That's how that goes. It's all about knowing your ethnic history. Because it's not the first time millions of immigrants come to America when their country's messed up, right? Same thing happened to the Irish. And look at the Irish now, they're doing fine. Every March we celebrate the best Irish tradition ever. Day drinking. Like, let's do it on Cinco de Mayo too, right? Why not? Why not? I said that at a show one time, and this guy yells at me from the back of the club. He goes, that's right, dude. The Irish built the country. They didn't farm it. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Of course you didn't farm it. You let the potatoes die. We're not going to let you get close to the wheat and the corn. It's all about knowing your ethnic history. And I'm all for ethnic pride. I am. And, like, we should be proud of where we ever come from. But you know what's wild is, like, the most racist people I know in my life are my uncles who all immigrated here from Mexico. Which is weird because they're being racist in someone else's country. Like, that doesn't make any sense. My uncle, I have one, he said, like, the dumbest thing at Thanksgiving this last year. He goes, you know what? Black people, they can mow lawns and pick fruit just like us. I'm like, yeah, they did enough free yard work already. We're gonna let some shit slide. Swear to God. I'm all for ethnic pride, I am. But we should be all, like, aware of where we come from and everything. Just be aware of our pride. Like, I support immigration reform, but Mexicans, you can't go to an immigration rally wanting to be legal citizens of America with a Mexico flag wrapped around your shoulders. Like, do you know how stupid that is? That's like showing up to court for a DUI wearing a Corona shirt with Snooki as your lawyer. Oh man. I was raised very Catholic too. I know Morris mentioned we got all the churches here. We got any Catholics here tonight? Any Catholics? No? One? One, two. A kind of Catholic? That's weird. And the Irish, I'm just going to assume you're Catholic. Yeah. So, but no, I was raised very Catholic. When I say that I was raised very Catholic, you guys, I mean my father is a Catholic deacon. And in case you don't know what that is, that's really just an overgrown altar boy that's old enough to fight back if the priest tries anything funny. So, but my dad being a deacon, I was at church growing up all the time, like 3-4 times a week. Like, that's a lot of church. So I figure I have a good line of credit with the Almighty, right? The only problem is, just like every other line of credit I've ever had, I've managed to fuck it up. And I didn't even know how bad my credit with God was until he sent the collection officers to my house. You guys might know them, the Jehovah's Witnesses. I love when they come to my house because I always mess with them. But the last time they came, they threw me off because they always come in a pair too, right? One of the dudes was blind. I was like, you're supposed to be a witness. You're not witnessing anything, dude. You're a Jehovah's listener, okay? No, but my dad, like, now that I'm 30 and like I'm married and I have a wife and I have kids and a mortgage and like regular bills, now I understand why my dad was always angry when he came home. Like, I understood why he would just come home and take it out on the kids. Like, it makes sense to me now. I get it. So I try to make his life better for him because he still has my little sister there. And, like, it's not that great with my little sister. She's 14. She's at that age. And I try to do things to, like, be a positive influence for her. And the other day I asked my mom, because I had a clean show, and she, like, one of the rare times I can take her, and I asked her, can I take her to the show? You know, she doesn't get to see me perform a lot. My mom's like, yeah, she's grounded. I'm like, what did she do? She's like, I caught her smoking. And it was like, cigarettes, holy crap. She's like, nope. Like, weed? She's like, no. It's like, what did she smoke? My genius 14-year-old sophomore in high school sister thought it was a good idea to make homemade cigarettes out of Post-it notes and tea leaves. Real story, you guys. Like, for real, she did that. I'm like, what? I call her. I'm like, Angelica, get over here. She comes out. I'm like, is what mom telling me true? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? She goes, well, we didn't want to smoke cigarettes because we knew that would smell in the room, so we figure if we smoke tea leaves, it'll smell like tea in the room. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. What are you going to do now? You're going to snort instant coffee, you dumbass? Keep her away from the pixie sticks, because... Couldn't believe it. So I'm trying to make my dad's life easier for him, right? So I bought him a flat screen TV because that was his dream and he couldn't afford to buy one. So trying to be a good son, I bought him one. And I go over there to set it up. And the first thing my parents want to do with the new TV is watch the home movies on it. Now my mom's not exactly what we call technologically savvy. Like the other day she asked me, like, hey, what's wifey? It's like, wifey? Why are you asking me about vernacular from the 90s? I just told you what bling bling was the other day. She's like, no. I was at Panera Bread. They were giving away free Wi-Fi. I didn't know if I should order something. I'm like, that's Wi-Fi. Well, that's how you get on the internet, Mom. Right? So that's my mom. So we're watching home movies on the new TV. She goes, oh, this widescreen is weird. Something's wrong with the widescreen. You guys got to take it back. It's weird. My dad, he doesn't miss a beat. He goes, that's because the video isn't formatted to fit your TV. This TV is formatted to fit your fat ass. Oh. It's like, oh my God, Dad. Erectile dysfunction really takes away your filter. And then I tried to get him a Blu-ray for Christmas. This past Christmas I got it to complete the ensemble, you know, to go with the HD TV. And I got him Braveheart to go with the player. Because it's a great war movie, and the scenes of Scotland, like, the scenery is amazing, so it looks great in HD. He opens up the box, he gets the player, he's like, awesome, this is great. Opens up the movie, goes, ooh, I don't like Braveheart. I was like, what? Best war movie ever. Why don't you like it? Turns out he doesn't like it because they capture, torture, and kill William Wallace at the end of the movie. I was like, okay, your favorite movie? Passion of the Christ. Oh. That's the same ending. That's like meeting a girl that loves Twinkies but doesn't... Same ending. You know, congratulations for you. In case you didn't hear it, she whispered, no, it's not. That was the worst whisper ever. Like, don't keep a secret ever. Like, just whisper at the top of your lungs, like, no, it's not. My wife and I just had a baby boy a few months ago, which is good. We had a little baby boy. It was nice. I can tell by your applause, you guys are assuming we did that shit on purpose. Thank you. No, but no, like, I was excited to have a son, but I'm at that age now where like all my friends are having kids on purpose. They're like trying. They're trying to have kids, which is weird. Like, that doesn't make sense to me because it's like, how arrogant is that? Who are you that you need to be having babies? Like, you're not William and Kate. You don't need an heir to the throne. You're a cashier at Costco. Like, the only thing you're going to hand down is $50,000 worth of debt to your kids. Like, that's it. You don't need to be making people, like, at all. So, but, like, I was excited because, we're married. I had no other choice. We're going to keep it. So I was excited for my kid. I had to be. But not as excited as my one coworker who, like, loves babies. And she knew his due date was getting closer. She's like, oh, my God, he's almost here. Are you excited? Are you excited? He's almost here. Are you excited? No. No, I'm not. I know nothing about this baby. He's a complete stranger coming to live in my house. What if he's an asshole? Now I have one of those in my house for the next 18 years, and my wife doesn't need that. She already has me. No. I was not excited. I was petrified because I have a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship, and that's a great setup because I've outsourced the raising of that child. Like, I give her mom money every 2 weeks to make the hard decisions. I get to do the fun stuff. That's the best, you guys. That's amazing. This is a full-time baby in my house. He's always going to be there when I'm there. Like, I was scared, so I did all the research in babies to find out what's new in kids, what's changed in the last decade with babies. And not much. Pretty much the same thing, except for this. The newest trend among natural mothers, which are like moms that give birth in the bathtub at home, or they don't use an epidural because apparently they're made out of silly putty. Like, their newest trend is after they give birth, they save the placenta, take it home, and eat it. Yeah, it's a real thing. Look it up, you guys. It's a real thing. Their justification is because we're the only land mammal in the world that doesn't do it. Like lions and tigers and bears all do that. I'm like, yeah, okay. Every other land mammal in the world also licks their kid's butthole clean. That doesn't make it a good idea. Like, monkeys groom their friends by eating bugs out of their hair. That's not a cure for human lice. So I text my sister who had just had a baby at the time, and I asked her, like, do you know about this? And she's like, yeah, the placenta is supposed to be filled with a lot of vitamins. You know what else is filled with a lot of vitamins? A jar of fucking vitamins. It's wild, man. So, but like I was happy to have a son. I'm happy because I had a daughter and now I have a son. I got one of each. This is great. But the wildest thing is like people get into your business when you have a son. Like when my daughter was born, people was like, oh my God, they came and see her, she's beautiful, and they left. That was it. End of story. Not with the boy, you guys. With my son, everyone got into our personal business. One of my wife's friends comes to visit the baby after we come home from the hospital, and she goes, oh, you had a son, did you get him circumcised? It's like, why is that any of your business? Like, what are you going to be, a cougar in 20 years, you dirty, dirty woman? Like, how does that affect your life? Like, my father-in-law was the worst. He was going on and on about it, and we just did not answer the question. It's no one's business, a personal thing. You don't need to know one way or the other. But he's going on and on and on. And finally I asked my father-in-law, I'm like, why does it matter to you? And he goes, he's my grandson. He's my first grandchild, and I love him. And if he's going to grow up, he's going to meet a woman, and they're going to get intimate. And if you didn't do it, it might gross her out. It's like, well, hopefully he meets a woman like your daughter, and it doesn't matter. And then I ran because he's a foot taller than me and outweighs me by 50 pounds. That's how that worked. No. It's like wild because everyone thinks like also with a son like I got this a lot when he was born. It's like, oh my God, you have someone to carry on your family name. Like my family name was doing so good to begin with. They say that like I'm handing down the Steve Jobs legacy to my children. Like no, that's not what's happening. I have 5 uncles, you guys, and the collective accomplishments of the men in my family are a retired Air Force veteran, which is great. You know, he served the country, the troops. That's awesome. You know, that's an amazing thing. I'm proud of him. Then we quickly fall off to college dropout, alcoholic, Jehovah's Witness, and 3 times accused but never convicted, like he always points out, child molester. Maybe we hyphenate that last name. Let this legacy die. Or change my name to Jobs. Let's do that. It is wild, man. My little girl, though, she just turned 10, and I love her to death. It's awesome. She was born when I was in college, in my junior year of college, and everybody asked us at the time, they're like, oh, was that difficult? Is it difficult? Was it difficult? Well, they're asking without asking. Was abortion an option? And it wasn't. Our own personal beliefs, we did not consider abortion at all. It's just what we believed. Now that she's 10, I think about killing that motherfucker like once a week. Like she doesn't shut up. And she's a smart ass too. Like I take her to see all the comic book movies, right? That's what we do. And a couple years ago I take her to go see Thor, and I'm growing my hair long at the time because I was jealous of Marcos. And so I'm growing my hair long, I take her to go see Thor. I think I'm going to be cool. I'm going to impress her. I'm like, you know what, Daddy's growing his hair out because he's going to be like Thor. So the girl looks at me, she goes, Yeah, the hair's not what you're missing. You're an asshole, kid. It's mean. I have feelings and they're sensitive. No, but like, her mom and I, we didn't stay together, and her mom got married before I did, and so I just instantly hated her husband, just for no reason, just because it's my ex's husband. Hated the guy. But I've gotten to know him over the last 7 years. He's a really good guy. You know, he treats my daughter good. He's a good stepdad. He's usually there when I go pick her up. We usually chit-chat. Sometimes we drink a beer together. Like, we have a lot in common. He's the kind of guy that I can be best friends with if he didn't have such horrible taste in women. So, but the thing is, like, I feel blessed because not only do I love my daughter, like everyone loves their kids, but I like her. I actually like the person that she is because she's exactly like me in pretty much every way except for one, and it's the worst way possible, is that she cannot take a joke at all. Like, her instinct, like, when you make fun of her, is to, like, reach for your jugular, rip it out, and, like, defecate into your heart. Like, that's what she wants to do. Like, she's gonna leave emotional scars when she comes back with an insult. Like, the other day, we were walking in Target, and she runs into a shelf, which I start laughing at because that's hilarious. Like, it's a stationary shelf. How do you just run into the shelf? She hits her head. She's like, oh, crap. I'm dying laughing at this. She goes, why don't you put this in your act? It's going to be your best joke because you suck as a comedian. Fuck you. You little bitch. Fuck you. I don't tell you all the things that you're terrible at. I don't tell you how you suck at basketball. Yeah, you got a great jump shot when you're by yourself. As soon as 9 other kids show up onto the court, you freeze up like your mom on a third date. I don't actually say that to her, guys. Because I don't want her to grow up to be a stripper later. That's why I don't say it. That's like my only job. That's my job. I was like, my daughter shouldn't be a stripper, and with my son, I got to teach him how to learn, and like, how to treat women. I don't want him to grow up to be rapey. That's like, those are your jobs as a parent. Like, everything else is gravy after that. If they're rich, great. Just as long as they're not raping people or stripping for coke. Like, if she grows up to be a stripper, if it's her mom's fault, I think I'm okay with that. Like, as long as she can't blame me, I think I might be able to make peace with it. So I go to all her things, too. Like, she plays an instrument of some kind. She's in band or orchestra or something. I don't know what the fuck she does. Like, I'm just there for that reason, you know, like, to support her and everything. And, like, but here's the thing, like, forget comedy shows, like, those things, like children's recitals, that's what needs 2 drink minimums. Like, there's no way you're making through that stuff sober at all. Like, I get a little, like, can, and I put vodka and cranberry juice, and then I make it, and then it's amazing. Now it's a concert, okay? Before it was a debacle, now it's a concert, right? And like, and the thing that's the worst is the parents. That's why I drink, because I can't deal with the small talk with the parents. Like, we show up and like, can you believe the weather? It's like raining. Like, yeah, it's fucking April. Of course, April showers bring May flowers. There's a cliche about this. Why? Of course I believe it's raining. What are we, the Jews in the desert? And like, all of a sudden it rained following Moses? Like, no, it's just rain. Like, I get it. Like, I can't deal with that. That's why I'm drinking at 10 a.m. at a soccer game on a Saturday. It's awful. You ever, like, you ever wake up at like 2 in the morning and like pour a shot of something because you can't sleep? Not for you, but for the baby. Like, because he's gonna pee the bed anyway, you might as well have a decent excuse. And now you can sleep through the rest of the night. And nobody from DCFS is here, right? Just make sure, no cops. I got a promotion at work recently, which is good. I just got a little raise at work and a promotion, which is good because I don't have to work for the same shitty boss anymore. Like, clap it up if you've ever had a shitty boss. Oh, yeah. Everyone has. Like, have you ever had a shitty boss and like your boss is like just talking to you but you're not paying attention to anything they're saying? Like, they're delegating some mindless task and the only thing going on in your mind is, what would happen if I punched this motherfucker in the face right now? Like, what would she do? And I get it, the economy still sucks, so I'm glad I'm still employed. Like, I'm glad I have a job, I get it. But just because you're working doesn't mean things are going great, right? Because you got to put up with a lot of stupid stuff at work, like coworkers. When do these people show up? And like, everyone's got that coworker that's just so mind-numbingly stupid that you don't know how that person managed to be conceived. Like, he was their dad's fastest swimmer. How dumb were the other sperms that's the idiot that made it? Like, were they swimming around in circles and shit? The dumbest thing that I saw at my job, though, by far the dumbest thing, is they put up a motivational poster called Teamwork. Together we accomplish great things, with a picture of the Great Wall of China. Like, I get the idea, but the Great Wall of China, built by slaves. And half of them died in the process. Then they used the dead ones to stick the bricks together. That shit's not teamwork. That's like getting a picture of the Native Americans on the Trail of Tears and then calling it road trip. I'm gonna be 31 this year, and now I'm realizing that I'm getting old. Like, what did it for me is, like, I don't understand, like, women's fashion at all. Like, when the hell did zebra prints and animal prints become sexy? Like, what is going on with that? And, like, who are women trying to attract when they dress like this? Like, the crocodile hunter? Like, because I gotta tell you, like, when you're out at a bar or something and the guy comes up to you and he's like, girl, you look good in that zebra dress. What he's really saying is, girl, I like Animal Planet more than I legally should. And who knows, maybe it is sexy, and I'm just losing touch now since I'm a little bit older, because I don't even understand what's going on with kids' songs anymore. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, say what you will about my generation, but when we were growing up, we had amazing songs. We had The Butterfly, Oh, That's Oh, Let Me See That Tootsie Roll. Like, that was the shit. But what do the kids have in the last several years? What do they got? They got Superman, That Ho! And the Stanky Leg. I couldn't believe that when that was a dance craze. The Stanky Leg. When I was in middle school, Stanky Leg is something we got from dry humping, okay? Was that the line over here? We said some fucked up shit, but dry humping, no, you lost me. You lost me on the dry humping. Oh man, technology too, like, that's kicking my ass. I can't keep up with it anymore. I really can't. Like, I still have the same shitty cell phone that I got like 7 years ago. Like, I do nothing fancy. I make calls and I send texts. Like, that's it. I don't have 4G internet. I don't have Facebook on my phone. And if my wife is too tired for sex, there's no app for that. Yeah, you're right. That was about right for that one. I will tell you this, I read this article though, if you got smartphones, that's amazing because you got full internet on there, and apparently mobile pornography is like a $2 billion a year industry on the phones. Just for the phones. Like, where are people using this? At the bathroom at work? Like, why do you need to have that on your phone? Something is wrong if you need to have porno in your pocket. Like, be a man, okay, and do what Dad used to do. You go to the bookstore on your lunch break, and, like, you rub one out there, like Mars. Crawling underneath the booth. That's... Ugh, God, it's crazy to me. Like, the other thing that I saw the other day that didn't make any sense, I saw this GPS device, and it's called Magellan. Like, after the famous world navigator Ferdinand Magellan. Like, what? Really? That doesn't... Ferdinand Magellan, you know, he tried to sail all the way around the world and died halfway through his fucking trip. Why would I take directions from this guy? Like, he couldn't follow his own directions. Like, don't die on the defining trip of your life. A GPS device named Magellan makes about as much sense as a convertible called the Kennedy. Guys, I've been Salty Peters. You guys have been a blast. Thank you so much. Let's make some noise for your Markles.
Keep going for Salty, everyone. Oh, by the way, Salty, you mentioned at the start the little case for a gay Justice League. You know what they call a gay Justice League? The new 52. But that was for the comic book geeks.
Hey.
Really? You're going to defend Jeff...
Alan Grant run on Action Comics was fantastic.
Dude, how are you going to defend Jeff Johns after you, like, killed his cousins in Afghanistan? Okay, I'm messing with you.
I won't actually defend him.